We're live, mate. So,
Oh, are we? Oh, we're just...
well, not live. We're just going to drink tea now. That's what we're going to do.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Hope you're having a good day.
So, taking it all seriously, like me and Steve are right now. This is episode 4 of Motorcycles and People, and Steve has kindly agreed to come and do it with me. I'm going to, from my notes, I'm going to introduce Steve. See if I can remember to do this off the top of my head. Steve is the founder of a thing called the Ride of the Ruperts.
Right.
He is also a tour guide for Harley Davidson on Tour 1. And
Yeah.
you have been riding motorcycles TY80 since you was, what, 8 or 9 years old?
About 7, actually.
About
This
7
year,
years
about
old?
7 I've been riding, so... Yeah, I don't even want to work out how many years I've been riding, but I love it. Absolutely love it, mate.
It's no, you can't change it for anything, can you? Like,
No.
if you haven't got a motorbike or you look outside and you think, oh, it's too cold to ride or too dangerous because it's icy,
Yeah.
I think to myself, what else am I going to do? YouTube goes on and I watch motorbike stuff.
I hate winter. I genuinely get depressed over winter because, you know, I don't want to be out. To be honest, I've been there and done it. I don't want to do it anymore, but it still makes me all depressed about not being able to ride in the winter. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fair bit of a bike now. Biker, I should say, but if I get caught out, I get caught out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like you to tell our viewers about the Ride of the Rupert, how it happened, why you want, what it is all about, and how people get involved.
Well, it's been going for about 7 years. So it started out as a result of a few of us doing the DGR every year,
Yeah.
and a couple of the fellas went, "Oh, it's a shame that it's it's such good fun that we have to wait a whole year to do it again, dress up like complete twats and ride motorbikes and stick
It's
on
all
tweeds
shirts and
on."
ties, isn't it? It's
Oh,
tweeds and shirts and ties,
it's just a joke. Yeah. It's a laugh, and we don't take it too seriously at all. And so I said, well, I'll organise a pub lunch for us, and we'll go out, 6 of us, and we'll go and have some lunch. Anyway, stupid me started talking about it around people, and people were like, well, I want to come on that. I'll do that. And in the end, there were too many people really to go and have a pub lunch. So I said, well, look, I'll organise a ride. And that was back in 2017. So the first ride was going to be 2018, and we had 179 people turn up.
The first ride?
The first ride,
Wow.
yeah, to do that. Yeah. From over in Horsham Way, the other side of Horsham, to Custom Gap, I think it was the first year. And it was absolutely brilliant, and we raised a lot of money for charity, obviously. And it's just really progressed from there. So we now have 2 rides a year. So we have the Hop Run in June. God, got too many things going on. June the 6th this year is the Hop Run, and that goes from Moto Girl, from Eamon's place over at Tunbridge, via Headcorn Airport, up to the B Road Hunting Club, which is at Challet, the other side of Charing.
Yep.
And then we will have an appearance at the Heritage Sprint in August, mid-August, where we'll have a Ride of the Rupert's tent. That gazebo arrives tomorrow, looks the absolute bee's knees, I think. And then the main event is obviously the Ride of the Rupert's proper, and that's on the 22nd of September this year, always on Sundays. And that's going to go from the Milk Churn over the other side of Horsham, via Hickstead Showground. No, they don't know it yet, but they always let me use it.
You will soon.
They will soon. When you watch this video. They're lovely. And then we end up at the White Hart at Netherfield, the other side of Battle, which is absolutely cracking pub, great food, fantastic views. So yeah, we've all I do is keep it simple. It's the rule in life, isn't it? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't get involved in politics too much if you can avoid it. Don't fall out with people. Be friendly. Be honest, and raise money as best you can for the charity. And the charity is WizKids, which is the UK's sort of go-to charity for disabled young people who need proper wheelchairs, not
It's a
ones
really
that the
worthy
NHS
cause
do.
then.
It's a fantastic cause. Everyone needs their own set of wheels, including these kids.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah, exactly. So it's a nice sort of thing with motorcycling is they also want wheels. They want a bespoke wheelchair for them that does the job, no problems at all. And they get it. And we gave away. I was really lucky. I went over to their centre last year and presented 6 wheelchairs to kids And I tell you what, I don't know how I kept it a dry eye. It was fantastic.
That must be a huge sense of achievement to take something that was
Oh,
an
gosh, yeah.
idea between a couple of mates
Oh yeah, it's
to
nuts.
something that you then present 6 children that need,
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
and you give them that what they need. Like that
and they
must
go,
be-
and they love it, and they all came in beaming smiles and what have you. And you think to yourself, wow, that would not have happened without all those people that have taken part in the Ride of the Ruperts. And it's got this lovely, I hate to use the word community feel about it, but it has, because the people that come and do it are genuinely nice people. You know, we charge 20 quid for a whole day, and honestly, it's such a laugh. People really enjoy it. They seem to get a lot out of it. They've got a sense of satisfaction that they've done something good for a good cause. And so they come and do it again. So we get a lot of repeat riders, and we get a lot of new riders. Last year we started up the Hot Run, you know, running out of Moto Girl. They've been really, really supportive over there for us. You know, we had bacon rolls and sarnies and whatnot at the beginning, cups of tea, a little bit of a briefing from me, you know, dressed up and what have you. And now we go for a ride. You don't have to dress up, you know, we're not sticklers for that. You know, if you're sort of guy or girl who doesn't like to ride unless you've got the full armour on or textiles, you know, absolutely fine. It's about the charity. It's not about, you know, yeah, of course, we love the, you know, we get professional photographers involved, and we get some great snapshots from the day for people. You know, we let people have those for free, basically, you know, through the website. And so people get a lot out of it, and it hasn't really cost them much.
Because that's how I first met you, wasn't it? I did the security at
Yeah,
one of your
yeah,
events,
that's
which
right,
was
yeah, that's
a
what
charity
it was,
event
mate.
when everyone was dressed up in 1950s stuff. And I was,
really sure.
I can remember walking through the door thinking, you want security here? These people look so happy.
I know,
They were dressed
yeah,
in
it
all
was
their
never gonna be a problem.
1940s, 50s and 60s get up, and it was just like, what an amazing
Yeah,
event, what an amazing evening.
Yeah, that was just before the first Ride of the Ruperts.
That would have been at 2016, wasn't it?
2017 that was.
Yeah.
Around it,
It was 2016.
I know it
17,
snowed that night. It was. I remember.
It was,
giving
you
a
gave
lift
me a lift
home.
home.
They did that thing, Nick's
Freezing
van.
cold, yeah.
Nick's van, didn't we? But it was, yeah, that was like, we called it the revelry of the Ruperts, and it was a mate
That's
of
the one,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So it's actually happened before the Ride of the Ruperts. It was a mate of mine, ex-racing driver, well, current racing driver, really, Le Mans winner, and he said, let's have this do. He loved his jazz and what have you, and it was his idea. And it raised a few, you know, raised a few quid for the charity, and it was great. You know, we just went from there. And it was, yeah. It's I haven't really looked back.
It's a nice thing when you can watch something that you've had a hand in creating evolve and how it helps people. If our viewers want to donate to the Ride of the Ruperts or get involved, where will they find you, Steve?
Right. Okay. So we've obviously got a website like everyone else, and it is literally www.rideoftheruperts.co.uk, or we're on Facebook generally.
Slowly.
Facebook is generally our big thing, so we've got a Facebook page, Ride of the Ruperts, and Instagram as well. You know, so but it's really, I suppose, the website is the place where you're going to go and find out all the information,
Yeah.
you know, as opposed to the social media. Yeah, obviously we put everything we're doing on social media, but if you want to find out more, you know, we sell buffs for charity. You know, we don't make any money ourselves on these. That's the important thing about the Ride of the Ruperts is we don't take anything for ourselves. So everything we raise,
Which is very unusual for charities, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, like you said, without giving in
we
politics,
give it-
that's
no,
an
I
unusual
in fact,
thing.
I bought you one. Look, I bought you
Did
a
you?
Ride of
mate,
the Ruperts buff, mate.
I will wear that tonight on my way
And-
home because I've got
and-
one, mate. Thank you very much.
And I was clever enough to think, oh, I know what I can do. A couple of our pin badges as well, mate.
Oh, mate,
For having us on board.
thank you very much. I
You're
really
more than
appreciate
welcome.
that.
You're more than welcome.
So, you can buy these on Steve's website, obviously, which goes to the charity. All of this goes to the charity, like Steve said. If you want to do the Ride of the Ruperts, you'll find them on Facebook, Instagram, and on the website. We will drop the links. Obviously, relying on my editing skills, my learner editing skills, we will drop the links below so you can find it directly. So that's the Ride of the Ruperts. Now on to your next big thing that you do, because you're not like some people have bikes and they have them in a garage and they look at them and go, yeah, I've got a bike.
Yeah.
And they'll wear a t-shirt that says, I've done Live to Ride. You're not that person. You're actually a Tour 1 Harley Davidson like instructor or touring, yeah. And you take people all over Europe on
I
your
do,
bikes, don't you?
I do, yeah, that's great fun, yeah. That is my sort of second job, I suppose you could call it. The Ride of the Ruperts is probably my first job, if I'm honest. Don't tell my employer.
Don't tell them.
But the tour one I got involved with maybe 10 or so years ago. Yeah, about 10 years ago. They are an authorised Harley Davidson tour company. It's run by a great guy called Gary France. www.tour1nogap.com, where you can see all about that. Okay, and because he's an authorised Harley Davidson tour company, he can only really take the Harley Davidsons on those tours. He can take like one or two bikes extra, to make up numbers. But sadly it is a Harley Davidson thing, which is sometimes disappointing for people who have a look at the website and go, I'd love to do that, but I haven't got a Harley. But
buy a Harley. You've got a
Buy a
Harley.
Harley, I
I've owned a
suppose
Harley.
you want, so-
I don't care what anyone out there says. Harleys
no.
are brilliant bikes. Like, they might not be as fast as a Fireblade or anything like that, but when you ride a Harley and you get to get involved with one, you understand why people fall in love with them. They're brilliant bikes. Buy a Harley if you want to go on the tour.
So I mean, Gary obviously leads the tours himself. He asked me once, do you mind sitting at the back in case there's an accident, in case there's a breakdown? And we've all had our experiences of sitting at the back there and things happen and you just deal with them, don't you? You know. And then he said, well, do you fancy leading a tour? And I was like, do I fancy leading a tour and getting paid for doing it? Yeah, too right I do. Yeah. So I take people. This year I'm going to the Alps for 10 days, and where else am I going? I'm going back to the Vosges Mountains in France. That's I've got to say, that I discovered it properly last year. The Vosges Mountains in eastern France, it's in Alsace. If you think of, you've got the border between France and Germany, you've got the Black Forest here, which is fantastic, but can get a bit busy. And then you've got the Vosges Mountains, the other side in France. It's empty. It's fantastic to ride around, and there's loads of twisties. It's really technical.
You've got switchbacks there.
Yeah.
The switchbacks are quite.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think people are a little bit suspicious because a lot of people haven't really heard of the Vosges Mountains. They're like, what's it?
I hadn't until Steve mentioned
them. It's really our nearest close. It's our closest mountain range in Europe. Okay, and so few people go there because they want to go further afield. Actually, if you go there, it's like a little mini heaven. It's beautiful for riding. Food's great, But I've taken people. We've been down to Austria, Belgium. We do tours down to the Ardennes. Gary, I haven't been lucky enough yet to get a trip out to New Zealand. Gary's taking tours out to New Zealand. But also, the other thing is, we take people from all around the world on our trips. So we had 30 Indonesians came over and rode with their wives a couple of years back, and they could seriously ride. Oh my God. We thought these small Indonesian people are going to struggle with these Harleys, and they rode Harleys back home, and they could handle them. Oh my God.
Countries like Indonesia, they're motorcycle countries, aren't they?
Oh,
we think we're motorcycle countries, but all those countries everyone rides a motorcycle or a scooter in some way, doesn't
it was brilliant fun.
Everyone does it. That's what they do. So no doubt that they put. I remember when I used to teach CBTs, and I get people from Thailand and that, and I'd be like, "Have you ridden before?" Yeah, I've ridden in Thailand. I've got nothing to teach you then. I've got nothing to show you. I'll teach you the road traffic rules. That's it. Off we go.
But it was really cool because, of course, the other thing is they were Muslims. So, suddenly you're like, what's going on here? The picnic's out, or they'd have to pray, and you'd have to build your touring around them. So it was, we tend to ride. We'll get up. We don't camp, obviously. It's nice hotels, So we get up in the morning. We ride for an hour and a half, and we stop, and we have a cup of coffee. Then we ride for an hour and a half, have a bit of lunch. And it's ride for an hour and a half, afternoon tea or coffee somewhere, bit of cake. Hour and a half, we're at the hotel. So you ride for 6 hours a day. And generally that kind of works, because you're not on the bike for too long, your concentration levels don't drop, it's safer, And
if you're riding solidly for 2 or 3 hours, you can get very, very bogged down with the road.
And some of the places we ride, it goes over 40 degrees regularly in the summer, so, you've got to take the water on board, and you do lose concentration if you're not careful.
So Tour 1 then will build their tours around people with with anything they've got to fit in. So if there's people with nutritional needs, they'll make sure that's on the route. Or like you said, people who need to. Yeah,
that's what I like about it. It works.
Based around people, that's a nice thing. Yeah, because I've been on rides with people before, and if you ain't fitting in their ride, they're off like that. They've left you behind.
Yeah.
There's no tolerance there. I think you've got when you're showing people the world, you've got to be able to show them all the world and work around them.
Yeah, exactly. We usually we don't use a drop-off system. We use a buddy system. So no one's ever going to get. No one's sitting at a junction for hours waiting for someone who's a bit further back. But we're moving slowly. Like a bit of an elastic band going through the mountains and what have you. It's fantastic.
For our viewers who don't ride with people, explain the buddy system. How the buddy system works.
Oh my God.
Oh, I've done it. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh God. Okay, so buddy system. I'll set off as the tour leader. Okay, and then obviously there'll be a stack of bikes behind me and a back marker at the back. Okay, and he's there to make sure that we're all together. Okay, and we don't even communicate through comms or anything like that. No. We just know the system. Yeah. Okay, so we've tried all that. Honestly, it doesn't work. Really. It really doesn't work. It's
people in your ear too much knocks your concentration off.
We would never do that. Trust me, it'll only be between me and the back marker. But the people in between are basically responsible for the person behind them all the time. So if I come to a junction and I turn left, and I might have a rider behind me, he will see that I've gone left. But if he looks in his rear view mirrors before he gets to the junction and sees there's no one behind him, he doesn't leave.
He'll wait.
He just waits, right? And then he waits for that person to come along, and he just double checks it is that rider, and it's not some other rider. Some German guy randomly out.
Someone on a sports bike is just taking him right.
We've had that, trust me. He'll then go. So that rider then knows, I can go left now, and there's a couple of bikes behind me. So, and then if there's another gap, they'll just wait for the next one to come. So your responsibility at all times is for the person behind you.
It's a nice system, that.
Yeah, and it's a lot simpler. I mean, the drop-off system's great, but it tends to be, I don't know, the buddy system flows better, And we don't have huge routes. We're only taking sort of, maybe 10, 12 bikes away with us at a time. So, and sometimes it's less. It might be 6 bikes, and you're all together all day, But there are other times if you get a slower rider.
See you later, Dave. See you later, chaps.
See you, Dave. Anyway, so right in the middle of a film.
It's real life workshop. We're always working.
So that's the buddy system in a nutshell, Chris.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try. Before we carry on, I'm going to check the camera's still rolling, just in case I've got any technical issues, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Steve, do you want another cup of coffee while we're going? A cup of tea?
No, I'm okay.
Right. The
camera's rolling.
It's still rolling. I haven't lost my footage like I did yesterday. So, I think that's a lovely thing. That. So again, we'll drop the link into Tour One guides underneath this for people who want to go and find it. Have a look. Let Steve and what's the gentleman's name? Steve and Gary take you for a ride on the Harleys. And then you can prove everyone else wrong and be like Steve and actually ride your Harley. Like none of these sitting in garages looking at it. Like,
we put hundreds of thousands of miles on Harleys.
I remember when I worked for Nick, there was an old boy that he actually got his Harley from his dad. His dad bought it for him, and he'd done something like 250,000 miles on that Harley before Nick went, it's just, I can't keep it on the road anymore, you need to buy another one, it's just done. But that, people do it, like, it's true. And they will do it as well, people.
Oh, they do, and I tell you what, they're sweeter for it.
Yeah, this whole idea that Harley Davidson are unreliable, I rode mine around Europe, and it let me down once, and it was a regulator rectifier, and they sit them at the front of the bike, and that's where the dirt and the mud gets on them and kills them. It's the only thing that ever went wrong on it. It was a quick, simple cut.
I've never really had problems with mine.
My Harley, I love mine.
I had a starter motor go in the middle of the Dolomites, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? But actually, when you think about it, it's the best place to break down.
Hills.
Because you've got hills, you've got mountains around you. So in the mornings, I'd get up, bump start it down a hill, come back, pick up my wife, and then we'd off we go again. Yeah, and I only had to do it for 3 days, and I rode into Bolzano, Harley Davidson, and I said to them, have you got a starter motor? And they didn't have one in stock. And they had this incredible ice racer there in the showroom, this orange Sportster with like spikes coming out the tyres. and it was an awesome looking, bit scary looking thing. And they said, you could have this one if you want, and we'll do it for you for a good price. And it said about 50 starts on it at the most. So I said, yeah, fit it, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, on an electric lighter sports, same start motor.
They've used the same start
Yeah,
motor.
yeah,
for a
they used
long
the same
time.
start motor. So they fitted it, and they charged me an hour and a quarter's labour. Not that I'm saying anything about what
Harley
we should do.
to the point there.
Awesome. Yeah, really good guys. I was on the road in, an hour and a quarter.
So that's pretty good, don't it? See, again, that's good customer service. Because they could have just gone, I haven't got one, mate.
Yeah,
In fact, actually, I've been into main dealers that will just look at you and go, like me and Dave were saying about the Ducati stand at the MCM,
Yeah.
unless they thought you had loads of money, they were not interested. They were really standoffish about the whole situation.
Well, they do
Right?
vary, don't they?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get good dealerships, you get bad dealers.
But
Local ones, great.
when we went to the Harley Davidson, because the boys here don't like Harley Davidsons, and I was trying to get them to look at the Harleys, they were all over it. They're like, yeah, how you doing? I said, would you like a drink out of the fridge and that sort of thing? And they are trying, they're showing you that customer experience.
Yeah,
They want you to buy the bike, want you to make you feel special, because that's the whole idea of buying the bikes.
Yeah, Sykes up at, up at Holmes Hill. It's phenomenal. It's a great dealership.
They're lovely up sites.
Yeah.
Lovely
Absolutely
groups.
great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. You can walk in there at any time of the day. You're always going to see someone and it's a nice social scene as well.
Yeah, and they will stand over, even if you're not buying a bike, they'll have a nice chat with you.
Yeah, exactly.
What drove you to the madness of motorcycling? Because
Well, it was my dad, really, I suppose. I grew up in Mid-Kent, and I was talking about this, actually, I shared a post on Facebook the other day. I grew up in a village where the Kent Custom bike show really started, in Harwich. And I would be cycling around there, on my little, I don't even think it was BMX, it would have been a grifter back then, yeah. So you've been cycling around the field, and all these bikers were turning up and camping and having a great time. It was sort of all back to basics, good time, And I remember that so vividly.
See that, Mike?
And my dad was a biker, he had various bikes, he's always ridden bikes over the years. He's 90 now, he doesn't ride anymore, he gave up about 10 years ago. But he used to do trials riding. Yeah. And so when I turned, I must have been 7, when I turned 7, I got suddenly, TY80. And I know a few of your viewers will have had TY80s, because they were a lot of people's first bikes.
Those were the bikes to have back then,
Oh,
weren't they?
yeah. And they hold their price now. If you want to buy one, they're quite expensive, like 3 or 4 grand for a TY80.
Well, I think that's that nostalgia thing, though, isn't it?
Oh,
Because
God,
like someone
I
like
don't
yourself, exactly. You had it when you was a kid, and whether you ride it or not, having it in your front room,
in my front room,
yeah,
if I
just to
could.
look at. That is the thing that you're going to want to do.
Beautiful little bike, yeah. And so my dad rode for Kent, doing trials riding. I ended up riding for Kent Juniors as a trials rider. I was a trials rider.
Trials riding, yes.
Yeah. So I grew up in the 70s, obviously, and my dad was trials riding for Kent, and bought me a TY80 so I could do it with him. Back in about 1978, I suppose it was, and I used to love it. Go out and muck around in the woods and whatnot. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? But I'd be out there in the woods on my little TY80.
It probably does, this new generation, but I know exactly what you're on about.
Yeah.
We used to get motorbikes, go up Coghurst Woods, ride our bikes around
In
Coghurst
my
Woods.
wellies, no proper gear.
No helmets or nothing.
And to be fair, that TY80 must have been like an iron. It must have been so heavy back then, compared to like modern trials bikes and today, you've got one next door, and I was looking at it thinking, God, that's just like nothing like a trials bike as I remember.
Oh, that gas is paper. Like, I can lift it on and off the bench. Like, it weighs nothing.
No,
Like,
brilliant.
exactly
I'd
right.
love to have a go on one, but I need to have I'd like to have a go on one at some point. I
I
did
did-
trail riding last year, 2022 in Spain, that was good.
I bet that is, because back in the day they used to do the 6 days trials in Spain, didn't they?
Oh
They
yeah,
used to
the
do all
old
those.
international 6-day trials, yeah, fantastic.
International 6 days
Yeah,
trials.
yeah.
Because of the train was so
Yeah.
fun to ride, wasn't it?
We went out to Andalusia with a company called Trail World. There was about 6 or 7 of us went out there, and it's absolutely brilliant. And do you know what? It was dirt cheap. It was, to be fair, for what we did. So you're in a little villa with a swimming pool. The swimming pool was still cold the whole time we were there. It's freezing. But you're out every day on AJPs, so Portuguese little 250s, 350s. And I hadn't ridden like that for years, and I just went back into it. I was riding for a really day long. It's fantastic. Hard work.
See, that's the nice thing. If you're out in the woods, you can ride. We can't ride up the roads. I discussed it with Chris.
Well, you can, because it's full of potholes.
Actually, you need a trials bike here, didn't you, to get over some of these potholes?
Yeah,
I went down Fernside the other day, and I had to swerve and avoid a pothole that I could have parked a bus in.
They're building these new houses.
That's lethal. Get stopped. Is your vehicle safe for the road, sir? It was until I rode it.
It's the road safe for your vehicle.
It's really not. It's not for most. I think that's why the boys in their 4x4s. It's dangerous. That's why I didn't buy it. So
where were we?
that's where you began. So you began on your TY in 1977, 1978 with your dad in the woods riding your bike. Now, the newer generations watching this, because this is YouTube, obviously, if you can get your dad or your mum to buy you a trials bike, find a field, go out and ride your bike in it.
Brilliant.
Don't sit there playing.
Get money. Break bones.
Yeah, it's much better. You will fall off, you will hurt yourself, but you will be so exhilarated by it.
And I tell you what, anyone who's ridden a trials bike is a better rider for it now. You know, if you look at there's a guy that works over at sites. I talk about sites again, like I lived there or something. But you know, generally, Craig Moore over at sites, right, he will throw a Harley round that car park like it's nothing, because he rather just trials bikes. And if you can get some, you know, for the younger generation, get some experience on a trials bike, you will be 10 times better.
You say that Fortnite did a thing, and because when you slow and controlled ride on a motorbike, you're taught by the DVSA's, you will lean the bike, but slow and controlled riding, actually, you should be leaning the bike underneath you and keep your body upright to keep the centre of gravity over.
And I genuinely do that. And I look at it and think, is that why I should be riding? But I think it all comes back from when I first learned to ride bikes, you know, and you tend to ride a bit like that.
Yeah, because you don't, if you're hanging off of a trials bike side on like that, like you're on a race bike, you're coming off, you need that centre of gravity over the top. And slow and controlled riding, why we don't have a better system of teaching that slow and controlled riding for that, I don't know. I think our teaching is very sort of narrow.
Yeah,
it's very rigid. And this is why you should go out and you should do a bit of trials riding, go on tour ones and stuff like that, and actually learn from other people around you, because we all learn from each other. I've ridden since I was 6 years old, and I still learn. I still learn today.
Yeah, I ride with a guy who's an ex Class 1, you know, police rider, and I look at some of the stuff. I think, how on earth are you doing that? You know, and I realise what he says. Well, I can see around that bend because of this X, Y, Z. I'm like, yeah. And you give it a go yourself, and you do become. And you're still learning. Like, I'm 52 now. Still learning stuff.
If I'm ever out and I actually see a police bike, I will shadow them because of their advanced riding, advanced riding, and I genuinely will shadow how they will move across the road and how they'll open up a corner.
As long as you understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, because they will get themselves on double yellows, and alarm bells go for most ordinary motorcycles. I'm not riding on that. I'm not riding in the curb, but they are in the gutter. They are in the gutter, and they're making that bend as wide as possible.
It's full of potholes,
it's full of potholes,
and drains,
and drains,
and hedges.
So anyway, you sort of answered a little bit on the next question, because the next question, you sent me a picture of you and your dad. You was on your TL1000. I've got one of them next door, and the thing is very unwell, and it's got a vacuum leak. So you're saying yes, like you had problems with yours.
I wrote mine off in Germany. Yeah, really. Yeah, it was a very top-heavy bike from what I remember, and I used to drop that thing in time. It was terrible. It was a fantastic straight line bike. I was crap at riding it. I really was.
Really
I would go off a curb and drop the thing. You know, I was useless on it, if I'm honest. I took it out to Germany with some mates. Back in the day, 25 years ago probably now, and we were somewhere, and I was riding with my mates, and we rode into a forest, and suddenly it was like, what the hell's that? And they'd laid gravel on the roads to slow the cars down for some of the bends in the forest.
Yeah.
I don't think they do it anymore. You do see occasionally the signs for warning gravel in Germany, and it was a habit they got into, of laying gravel to slow vehicles down. And of course, I hit this gravel, and that was it. First bend. I was not going to make it around it, and I just touched the brakes, and I went down like a sack of what on my left-hand side, and the bike shot off into the woods, and it was my pride and joy. It was white wheels on it, it was blue and white, And this thing came out, it looked like a cheese grater had gone down the side of it, and it was a financial write-off. We got it back on the road. I was able to ride it home. I got 176 on the autobahn out of it.
That's quick, that.
And I tell you what, it scared the life out of me. Mainly because the bloke on the Ducati overtook me at the same time. And I got it back and I got rid of the thing, and I've never owned a sports bike since.
There's always someone, you think you're going fast, here comes a Ducati, and it's off like that.
I know, and it was nuts.
I did say to them, I had an X-Up, when I had my Harley, I had an X-Up that had been street fighted, and I remember going on my X-Up out for a ride, and coming home and parking that thing up and thinking, I'm not riding that again.
Honestly,
I'm not going out on that. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it had, that TL had the nickname of the Widowmaker, didn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, because it suffered from tank snap, I think. It had a steering damper on it. It was a beautiful looking bike. In fact, I saw one on Hastings Seafront the other day in yellow, and I looked at it admiringly, and I thought, no, if I had one of those, I'd just get disqualified. Because you just can't help but ride them like a lunatic, and I'm too off for that.
Heavy hands.
I'm too off for that shit.
I'm assuming, because the one that I got next door, I've only ridden it down the road and back because it came as a crank no start. I've got it running, but there's still loads of other problems with it. I think Suzuki probably put too much power in that chassis, and that chassis just isn't capable of dealing with the amount of torque that bike's got. Because that's a big 1000cc twin that's tuned.
Big,
that's
big engine.
It's a big engine.
It's a big engine.
So now, I love classic British bikes, and you happen to have a classic match list. Tell us about your match list and what inspired you to buy this bike, because it is a beautiful machine.
Well, so, what inspired me to buy a match list? Lack of money, to be fair, at the time. I wanted to get a bike, and I didn't really have a lot of cash at the time, and I thought, I want to get something that's cool, and I really didn't know what to get. I was sort of umming about various things, and then my dad was saying, why don't you get a match list? Because he'd had old, mattresses, HASs, all back in the day, and he actually found it. It was up for sale in Banbury. It was a private sale, and it's if you know about mattresses, this is a nice mattress to have, and you don't see them regularly. You see a lot of the singles, but this is a twin, and it's the G9. Okay, so mine is I suppose you would call it a Bitzer. It's a what is it? It's a 53 frame with a 61 engine in it. 1961 engine in it. So it's not matching, frame engine, but it's a beautiful bike. It's great for getting out on and having fun, because the gears are on the wrong side. Obviously the brakes the rear brakes on the other side. It's you gear up instead of gear. No, sorry, see, even now I'm confused. I get on it and I can ride it instinctively now. But there was many what I called matchless moment when I first got it, and you would change down instead of up and what have you, and my wife on the back, she would suddenly into the back of my head, and it's like, oh, sorry about that, matchless moment. Anyway, but it's a great fun. It's lovely chrome. It's an export model. It was I think they called it. Oh, what do they call it? Oh my God, my brain's gone. No, it's gone anyway. It was mainly exported to the States, but I don't think this one ever went there. So it's got a lovely chrome tank on it. It's a beautiful bike. I think I sent you a photograph.
You did, and I will, because this is a lovely bike. We will all the bikes we spoke about. We will stick the photos underneath for you guys to see Steve's bikes, because they are beautiful things.
Yeah, you just don't see many of them. I don't get a lot of mileage out of it, but I do the VMCC hill climb every year at Bow Peep Lane. It's not the one it's near Phil. Everyone thinks, oh, is that the same? It's not. It's a VMC. It's only a small hill climb. It's actually a regularity trial. So it's not a case of getting up there as fast as possible. You go up once. If you're happy with your time, you sort of nominate a time, or you can give out 1 second either way. And then the idea is that you ride up the hill at the same time every time. And then the person who gets the closest regular time wins. Okay, And so a couple of years ago I did it and we won, and I didn't even know I was in a team, if I'm honest. And then last year we failed miserably because I do the ride with my mate Sean, and he just wants to go health level up the top there, so he never gets the same time, and so we give up. And we
How do you do? What do you do? Do you sort of, when you're going up the hill, do you find what I'm going to go second or third gear and I'm going to rev match at 3,000?
No, I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I have
Oh,
no
you're just
idea. I just
riding
ride
fun.
up the hill as fast as I can, and then I'll try and match that.
That sounds like quite a bit of fun, though, to be honest with you.
It is. It's coming up. Actually, it's next month. So you should come along to it. You generally get about 50 bikes to do it.
What's the
and you
rules?
get
What's the
lots of
regulations?
Oh, it's I know mine's well in obviously 1953. I want to say, John, I wouldn't want to say. But it's got to be certain year, and I can't for the life of me think.
If you send us a link, I'll link it underneath for anyone else that's interested, and I'll have a look.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah.
If not, I will try and find a bike to do it, because I like the idea of that. If Dave's got a 1977 BMW,
Yeah, I can't remember the cut-off date. Genuinely can't, so I wouldn't want to say it and cough it up.
we'll go and find an old Bantam. There's enough of them lying
Oh
around.
yeah.
Find a Bantam
Well,
anyway.
you get some great bikes. Yeah. But yeah, so that's about it. Really.
Fantastic. So that is Steve's a very short. Steve's been riding a long time. There's a very short insight into Steve's motorcycling career. Steve, is there anything?
Too boring.
No, I very much enjoyed the conversation. I loved hearing about all of your stories and that. Is there anything you want to tell the guys? Obviously, remind them about riding the Ruperts and how to find you.
Yeah, all I'd say is if you fancy coming and doing the ride of the Ruperts, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good day out. Some really nice people come and do it. You know, people turn up for the first time, a little bit unsure because there's a load of people there they've never met before, and then they go away having made some mates, and that's really what it's all about. And we're raising money to buy wheelchairs for kids.
Always kids,
And,
yeah.
you know, and that's makes it doubly best, doesn't it?
That's what it's got to be about. Meeting people, sharing the passion of motorcycling, and then doing a little bit good for the community.
Yeah.
If you're doing all those things,
Yeah.
you're winning,
You
aren't
know,
you?
I've been lucky in life. I've worked hard, had my toys and what have you. Now's the time to give back for me, you know. So I'm not interested in making any money out of it. All I want to do is bring people together and show them a good time. And it seems to work.
And like Steve said, on the website, I'm going to wear this tonight, and you get your pin badges and that. This all goes to the charity as well. So, Steve, thank you so much for
You're
coming
more
and
than
chatting to me, mate. I
welcome.
genuinely
You're more than
enjoyed it.
welcome,
Would you
Chris.
come back and do
Anytime.
another one sometime? Would you come find some more, tell us some more stories at some point?
Of course. Never a problem, mate. Never a
Brilliant.
problem. I live down the road.
You do, yeah. I'm only out at Silver Hill. Mate, maybe come and join us for a beer or something at the welcome one day, mate.
Sounds bloody
I
brilliant.
really did, mate.
No,
I genuinely-
You're
that was
more
really
than
pleasant.
welcome,
Thank you very
mate. More
much.
than welcome.
Mate, you're...